Hello everyone, Jonathan Schlack, JohnnyThunderEAS&Weather here with a severe weather update. Starting you off with a severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect for the western part of the upper peninsula of Michigan, as well as northeastern Wisconsin. That is in effect until 4 o'clock p.m. Central Daylight Time. Again, the severe thunderstorm watch is in effect for the western part of the upper peninsula of Michigan and northeastern Wisconsin until 4 o'clock p.m. Central Time this afternoon. And the primary threats include isolated damaging wind gusts to 65 miles per hour possible, and isolated large hail events to 1.5 inches in diameter possible. So, the summary says thunderstorms spreading northeastward this morning and the afternoon should continue to pose some threat for severe hail around 1 to 1.5 inches in diameter, along with severe and damaging winds up to 55 to 65 miles per hour. So that's basically the case, and there is still a severe thunderstorm watch in southeastern Minnesota, west central Wisconsin, and northeastern Iowa. That's going to continue until 10 o'clock Central Time. So they're going to continue the watch until 10 o'clock a.m. Central Time this morning. So I'm not even going to bother going through that one because that's going to expire soon. So, going over to the day one outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, and we have a huge slight risk area up here, and we have the slight risk covers southeastern Montana, northeastern Wyoming, southern and southeastern North Dakota, all of South Dakota, central and western Nebraska, northeastern Colorado, northwestern Kansas, going over here to western and southern Minnesota, northwestern Iowa, north central and west central Wisconsin, and the southwestern part of the upper peninsula of Michigan. So, and we have a marginal that covers southeastern Montana, north central and southeastern Wyoming, parts of North Dakota, west central and parts of eastern Nebraska, eastern Colorado, western Kansas, the western half of the Panhandle of Oklahoma, western Texas, southeastern New Mexico, far southeastern or far eastern New Mexico, northern Minnesota, northern Iowa, northwestern and central Wisconsin, and much of the upper peninsula of Michigan. So, and right over here we have a marginal risk that covers central and eastern Ohio, north central West Virginia, northern and western Pennsylvania, and central, well, I shouldn't say central because they doesn't really include central New York State, but I should say the western half of New York State. So, going over to the tornado threat, we have a 5% chance of an isolated tornado in southwestern Nebraska and northeastern Colorado, and we have a 2% chance of an isolated tornado that covers northeastern Colorado, northwestern Kansas, parts of Nebraska, southeastern South Dakota, northern Iowa, southern and southeastern Minnesota, north central and west central Wisconsin, and the south central part of the upper peninsula of Michigan. So, going over to the wind, we have a 15% chance of damaging wind gusts to 58 miles per hour or higher in southeastern North Dakota, central and eastern South Dakota, central Nebraska, extreme northeastern Colorado, extreme northwestern Kansas, western and southern southeastern Minnesota, north central and west central Wisconsin, and the south central part of the upper peninsula of Michigan, with a 5% risk of damaging wind gusts to 58 miles per hour or higher in southeastern Montana, northeastern Wyoming, a lot of North Dakota, western South Dakota, western, south, central, and northeastern Nebraska, eastern Colorado, western Kansas, much of western Panhandle of Oklahoma, western Texas, far southeastern New Mexico, parts of Minnesota, northern Iowa, northwestern and central Wisconsin, and a lot of the upper peninsula of Michigan. And we also have a 5% chance of damaging wind gusts to 58 miles per hour higher in central and eastern Ohio, north central West Virginia, northern and western Pennsylvania, and much of the western half of New York State. So, going over to the hail, we have a 15% chance of hail of 1 inch in diameter or larger in southeastern Montana, northeastern Wyoming, southern and southeastern South Dakota, southern and southeastern North Dakota, I should say, all of South Dakota, central and parts of western Nebraska, northeastern Colorado, northwestern Kansas, going northeastward to western and southern Minnesota, northwestern Iowa, north central and west central Wisconsin, and the south central part of the upper peninsula of Michigan. Now, if you notice the hatched area, the black dashed area, that spans across central Nebraska, far northeastern Colorado, and far northwestern Kansas, the black dashed areas is where we have a 10% chance of seeing hail of 2 inches in diameter or larger. So, and with a 5% chance of hail 1 inch in diameter or larger, that covers southeastern Montana, sorry, I don't know why I just updated on me. Anyway, that 5% chance of hail 1 inch in diameter or larger covers southeastern Montana, eastern Wyoming, parts of North Dakota, far western, central and northeastern Nebraska, eastern Colorado, western Kansas, western Oklahoma, western Texas, and far eastern New Mexico, as well as northern Minnesota, northern Iowa, northwestern and central Wisconsin, and the upper peninsula of Michigan. So, going over to the summary, scattered strong to severe storms are expected today, mainly across the upper Mississippi Valley and across the central high plains and northern plains late this afternoon through tonight, with damaging winds and large hail possible. So, anyway, those are the areas today. So, for severe storms, I'm going to have a separate video that's going to cover the Day 2 outlook because, had a lot to cover in the Day 1 outlook and with separate areas. So, and I'm pretty sure if I combine the Days 1 and 2 outlook into one video, it would go over 10 minutes, and my screen recording app doesn't really allow me to record for over 10 minutes unless I upgrade to the premium, which would cost money, and I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to spend money on that. So, stay tuned for the Day 2 outlook, but remain vigilant today. So, I will have the Day 2 outlook very soon. Stay tuned for that.